What's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. This is my girlfriend Nicole.
Hey, how's it going?
And today's video is gonna be my first video in my new series on my channel called Girl Talk. I've kind of talked about it a few times on my channel, and pretty much what it is just, it's a podcast style video, and pretty much it's just like you talking to your girlfriends. That's kind of the vibe I'm going for, and today Nicole and I are talking all about our health journeys, because if you guys have been following me, you guys know that I'm on this like huge health journey, and so is Nicole. So I feel like you guys kind of know a little bit about like my background and like how I started and why I started, but I'm gonna let Nicole kind of explain right on the spot.
No,
Nicole kind of explain like why she wanted to start her whole health journey, and like you can just like talk about like why you started and stuff like that.
Yeah. So I think it was like a couple months ago. I've always been super into fitness and everything like that, sports, but I never really took like that extra step and like went for it and saw huge changes in my body. Yeah, I've always been super into fitness, but never took that extra step. And I guess quarantine hit, and really like it was kind of an overnight thing. And I'm always on Instagram, and I follow, well, like I know you laugh at me because of this, and I know you know
what I know exactly what you're gonna say.
But I have a role model her name is Tammy Hembrow, and I just literally love like who she is and what she stands for and like her fitness, and I don't know, she just like inspired me. And she has like this app, so I checked it out, and then I ran upstairs to my mom and I'm like, I'm gonna do everything, this 8-week challenge, like I'm gonna do it. And she looked at me, she's like, you're crazy. And like that included like me cooking, buying my own groceries.
Which she actually like she's been lucky enough to like live at home, and like her mom always cooks her meals and stuff like that, so she's never actually like had to or wanted or needed to really like cook her own meals and stuff, right?
Well, like when I went away to school, because I went to school in Ottawa, I mean, I had to cook, but it was literally chicken the odd time and mac and cheese, like all the things that like unhealthy. I didn't properly know how to cook, or did I care to know? Like I just didn't care about my well-being enough, or I didn't really think about it. Anyways, so, you know, I downloaded this app, and then I literally went to the grocery store, bought everything for a week, and I made like a promise or like a bet to my mom. I'm like, if I could cook all these meals for 1 week, you have to cook my full meal like on the next day. And then it turned into me literally loving to cook. I didn't even want her to cook for me on the Monday, because I was like, holy crap, it's a skill. Like
totally.
It's absolutely, and that really inspired me and pushed me. I was like, wow, I can really do this. So then I just went 8 weeks, and I guess, I don't know, I did this stupid video one night in quarantine, and it was pretty bad. I got pretty hammered and went on Instagram Live.
But this was kind of, wasn't this before your whole health journey?
Oh yeah, this was like 2 days or 3 days before.
So this is kind of what, I feel like this is kind of what pushed her into like starting this whole new health journey.
Like I really enjoy drinking. I think like my whole family enjoys drinking, but I don't really find now looking back if I actually really enjoy drinking or if it was just like a social thing. But anyway, one night during quarantine, I was super bored / I was looking for excitement / I didn't really know what the hell I was doing. So I got absolutely shit-faced and got on Instagram Live, thought I was hilarious, thought it was amazing, and then it just went downhill. It was, let's just not talk about that night. Let's just say it inspired me and pushed me, and I woke up the next day at I think 3 p.m. from like 30 missed calls, 30 texts, and was hungover for probably 3 days. And I realized, I looked myself in the mirror and I said, what the actual fuck are you doing? Get your life together. You are 24 years old. You are a mental health worker, which doesn't mean like much. Like I'm still allowed to suffer myself.
Totally.
But like you need to be a good role model for not only for others, but for yourself, because you have to practice what you preach. So yeah, that really inspired me. And then that's when I started, and I literally look at pictures from like before to myself now, and it's like
totally different person. It's crazy.
I literally got the shivers.
I'm gonna insert her before and after photos. And I wouldn't say it's after, because this is a journey. So there's no before and there's no after. It's something that is continuous. But the change is just unbelievable. Like obviously like the physical is one thing,
oh god,
but like the mental too. Like I feel like we had a dinner, like me, Nicole, and another girlfriend, and we were just saying like how much she is like changed as a like mentally. Like she's a different person. Like we just like totally have a different mindset now. And what are some things that you kind of incorporated into your life to make sure that you're like, you stay motivated and you stay on like this whole health journey? Because I know it's really easy to like fall back off, want to go out and have drinks with your friends, everything like that.
I think for me personally, the app really kept me on track. It had everything that I needed, and I knew having it there would inspire me to try new meals, cook new things, do new workouts, and as well, the people and the support around me really pushed me to keep going. But most importantly, I think just seeing the changes in myself and really noticing the mental difference that I've literally changed into a new person, it feels like. And that more than anything, I think has pushed me. But incorporated, like I have a routine, like much like you talk about on your channel and stuff, how you have this morning routine and how it's so important.
So sacred. Your morning routines are everything. That's why I always encourage you guys to like get a morning routine going, because that can it creates your whole life.
It does.
Right?
So I feel like my routine has shaped me, you know, going on my runs every day, seeing the progress, definitely seeing progress is so inspiring. There's a bunch of things, you know, but most importantly, just knowing that you're growing and getting stronger every day, and that each run or each workout or each meal like serves a purpose, I think is so important. Yeah.
Totally agree.
What about you?
Obviously, like your physical appearance is huge. Like I've seen a huge change in my body. But I think for the most part, it's all mental. Like how how I see everything. Like I am way more of a happier person in general, and just my morning routine has made me change a lot of like bad habits in my life. Like I get up early now. I try to eat as well as I can. I drink more water. I like meditate, all that stuff. And it's really just like molded me and has become my routine and become who I am.
Exactly. They say a habit takes 3 months to secure. So if you can do something for 3 months, then that can turn into a habit.
And it turns into you.
Exactly. Like it no longer becomes, for example, if I can give the best example, is that my eating habits, they used to be worse than yours. They used to be...
Can I just say, like, you used to, like, her breakfast would be, like, a Tim Hortons ice cap and, like...
A donut.
And
a bagel. Like, every day. Like, it was so awful. And I think the biggest thing for me is that I haven't had McDonald's, Tim Hortons, or like any fast food in probably 4 months. Like I've gone out to restaurants and eaten dinner.
Like she still, like both of us, we still allow ourselves to indulge, because if you start looking at sweets or going out to restaurants as like this really terrible thing that you're not supposed to do, it's gonna make you wanna do it more, and you're just gonna like, it's gonna form a bad, like almost like a bad reputation around that in your own mind. Like, fuck, I can't do that, or I'm gonna get this, or I'm gonna do that. So allowing yourself to still indulge in like, and treating yourself to these things, that's why it's called a treat and an indulgence, is really important. And that's why I always encourage people to like treat themselves and stuff like that, because as soon as you start looking at something as like, oh, that's a bad thing to do, then it becomes
like you want to do it more.
Exactly.
But like, not only that, I think personally, when you start to look at something like, oh, I shouldn't do this or I shouldn't do that, you're already like having those negative thoughts in your mind about something, and it's all about balance, I feel.
Totally.
Like, I'm not eating 4 donuts a week. I'm not even eating 1 now, but like, that's just because that's what works for me. That's what you decide that your cheat meal or whatever it's gonna be, that's fine. But for me, I've gone this far without it, and I just don't even crave it anymore.
I was gonna mention that, like, for me, it was such a sweets crave that I would have every single day. And once you slowly find a way to limit that or like cut it out of your life, you start to not even crave it anymore, I find. It's just like not something you really think about. But if you do think about it, like, don't be scared to go out and get a donut. Don't be scared to like make a cookie or something, you know, like.
Definitely. There's also like healthier options. Like you can, if you're ever like craving sweets or like anything like that, I suggest searching options that are kind of like dupes that are a little bit healthier.
I agree.
Because you still get that like sweetness feeling, but it's not as bad for you.
Totally.
So I think that's like a really good idea, because you're still like getting that satisfaction of a sweetness, but you don't feel internally, as for me, like internally as guilty.
Yeah, I agree.
Because there are still days where like it's not perfect. I do feel guilty. I'm like, oh shit, like something like this.
Yeah.
Something like that. But that just pushes me to keep going. And like, you know, Courtney, you said earlier, like it's a journey. It's not a before and after, you know? It's not like on this day I'm gonna wake up and I'm done. I'm going back to the old way. No, it's not like that at all.
And it's something that you're gonna be on for like the rest of your life, especially if you've like lived, like we're 25 years old and like we just started.
I'm 24.
Oh yeah, you're 24.
I'm 24, relax. Let's not age me.
We literally just started this change in our life now. So from when you were a kid to 24 or 25, you were living this certain way in this certain routine. So it's gonna take you years and like to get to a new routine and a new kind of lifestyle. So don't be like down on yourself if like in a month or in a week you're still craving sweets, or if you're not losing weight, or if you feel like your growth isn't a big difference. Like it takes so much time and so much work, and that's something that everyone, I even have to remind myself that like every day, like self-development and growth takes so much time and so much work, because like you're teaching yourself a whole bunch of stuff, right? So it takes time. Yeah,
I think like also writing in my journal has been really good. I know you talk about that as well. But I've got a journal and every morning I write in it, and it has like 3 things that I'm grateful for.
Gratitude, practice gratitude, guys. It's huge. But yeah, you guys know like I'm huge on journal writing. Like I think it's essentially like free therapy. Like I always say that because it's so true. And as you were saying, like write down what you're grateful for every single day. What I've learned over this whole like self-development journey is that the little things in life make you the happiest.
Oh my god.
Right?
Totally.
Like getting up in the morning and having your coffee and like
oh my god,
stuff like that, you know, like just your health and everything like that. It's the little things in life that make me the happiest.
I find. Sure. I think like one of the biggest things that I've learned too during this process or journey is that you need to love yourself, because the way you look is not gonna take you that far. You need to love yourself every part of your journey, because that you're just gonna like continue to grow the more you love and respect yourself. And for me, I like inspiring other people, and as much as like I'm doing it to inspire myself, it's really, I think one of the biggest joys, and I think for you too, is you know, the people reaching out and saying like how much like
it pushes you further,
how much you've helped them, or like, and you're like, whoa, I'm just on this journey, like I'm just like a regular person, you know. I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain.
And the way that I see it is like, if I can do it, then any single person can do it. Like, trust me, if I'm capable of changing my life around and doing this whole self-development journey, anyone can do it. Like, I feel like excuses are another thing that I used to give myself all the time. Oh, I'll do it tomorrow, or like I didn't do it because of this, I didn't do this because of this, or I ate this way because of this. It's just like excuses are just so unnecessary. You guys have to stop, take responsibility and stop giving yourself excuses as to why you're not doing something. Like if you guys are watching this video at home and you guys have like want to be on the same journey as like Nicole and I are going through right now, and have been giving yourself excuses, start right now. Like get up, go for a walk, clear your mind. And that's another thing I think we both talk about is like walking and stuff. And like she was saying the other day on her Instagram how like running is so therapeutic, and like she just, your thought process, it just like you think so much and then
you think much more clear.
Exactly. And then you can come home and write things down, and I do that all the time. So if you guys are sitting at home and you guys have been giving yourself excuses for so long as to why you guys are not starting, or as to why you guys are in this place that you are right now, if you're not in a good place, go for a walk. It can be like a 10-minute walk, and just clear your mind and start. Like it's never too late to start either, right? Like I'm 25 years old and I started now, right?
And like personally, I suffer from vertigo. I don't know if anybody knows what that is, but basically I have like dizziness, off balance sensations and I still work out every day. And there are definitely 100% some days where I think I've talked about it on my Instagram where I'm like, I feel like I'm gonna like faint during my run, or like I feel like I'm gonna like fall over, and I still continue to run. So like I don't really like have empathy. I'm sorry. I know some people might be more debilitating than that, but vertigo could be very debilitating, and I try and like mind over matter it, and I just do it anyway. And not every day is easy. So I just suggest you stop making excuses like you said and just go for it. And once you do, you'll feel so much better.
Yeah.
But if I could say something else, so I used to, back in the day when I didn't really, I feel like love myself as much, this journey has made me really love myself and put me first.
Totally.
And it makes a world of a difference the way people treat you, the way
you see yourself, obviously.
The way you accept to be treated.
Yeah.
The way you see yourself. Like for example, we would always go to bars, and I think my main goal every single time we went to a bar was to get a guy's number. Or if a guy didn't talk to me, I felt so unworthy.
She would always be like if we were to have a girls' night and we'd go to a bar and she would get hit on, like I'm kind of throwing you under the bus, but you're talking about it now.
Yeah.
She'd be like, can we go somewhere else? You look back on that and you're like, it's sad almost to think that you were once like that, right?
Yeah. I think that just comes with self-love, because looking back, you're never like, I didn't not love myself, because like, you know, I always have loved myself, but it's just like so different to the point where obviously it comes with maturity and knowing who you are and what you stand for. But now, like, I could like care less if a hot guy, like I have a boyfriend, but like I could care less if I walked down the street and like the hottest guy was calling at me or catcalling me. Like I wouldn't even, I'd be like, okay, whatever. Back in the day, like I would, oh my God, it was awful. Like I would just drool over somebody who, and it was because I was lacking that self-love and self-respect, and I was just looking for it in all the wrong places. Yeah. And I thought that, you know, a guy who, you know, wanted to talk to me or buy me a drink, he really cared about me, and like, it was just like, no.
I think us girls can all feel that on some sort of level, like this lack of self-respect at some point in their life. Like I felt it, like everyone has that
I didn't know what it was at that time. I just thought, I just want, like, I'm attention, guy crazy, like I want attention, but not until like later, like now-ish, like not in this moment, but not until I could self-reflect later did I realize that's because I didn't respect myself or love myself enough to know that it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. You are beautiful and great and lovely the way you are, and it takes a long time to get there. So if you're somebody who's struggling with that, don't be hard on yourself. I suggest just go on a self-love journey and do things for you that will work, because it could be a bad spiral.
Totally. And to go off of that, I talk about things on how to find yourself, and like I say find yourself, but like that self journey love, like do things like journaling, walking, running, move your body, meditate, all those things. So if you guys are in a place where you don't know where to start with that. Start with a routine, a morning routine to get you kind of on track. It kind of just like almost like snowballed for me. Like once I started with, I had that realization of like, I don't want to live like this anymore. I started with going out and buying a journal, and then I just kind of moved into like, you know what? I'm going to try to go on these walks every day. You know what? I'm going to meditate every day. And it just snowballed into like a bigger, better version of myself.
Do you think it's like helped with your relationship?
100%. Like I was like almost like very angry. Like I had this anger problems, and I've always had anger problems like growing up. Like I had to go to anger management as a kid, but I'm just a more pleasant person, and like little things don't bug me anymore. If someone was to write something negative on my Instagram or send me a DM that was just like absolutely disrespectful, like that drives me nuts. But I used to react in a way that was just like so inappropriate. Now it's just like, as I've mentioned, negativity, just treat negativity like block and delete. Don't feed into it. Like that's the best thing I can give anyone, is just if you feed into negativity, you're like, that energy of negativity is wearing off on you. Just like block it, delete it, and move forward. Don't ever feel bad telling someone who is negative in your life, oh, you know what, I can't hang out with you today. There's nothing wrong with that. And I've learned that my friends groups have definitely changed because we're just on different paths in life, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Personally think that self-love is like the biggest thing on my journey.
Like, I agree.
I'd say that's my biggest self-love, self-respect. I've always like been super confident, but I feel like it was coming from a different place before. It was coming from like, I'm confident.
There's also fake confidence.
Yeah.
There's fake confidence in the sense of like, I'm gonna post this because like I need attention. Or it's like, I'm gonna post this because I look fucking fire and I look sexy and I look so healthy.
Yes.
There's fake confidence and there's real confidence. And once you start feeling what real confidence feels like and just knowing what you're worth, it's like huge.
I used to love this quote. It's, the more confident you are in your decisions, the less others have to be. I think that really resonates with me more so now than ever, because you're right, I'm not afraid to say no to things. I don't drink as much as I nearly used to, or go out nearly.
You've changed tenfold as like how you used to.
Oh,
like every weekend, like Saturday, Friday, Saturday, like, and like now it's just like she's learned how to deal with it and like
I don't even really like to drink, and that's more so because like I get a lot of bad anxiety when I'm hungover and stuff like that. But as well, I can go out and have fun without drinking, and I don't feel like I need to go out all the time. I think I talked about this briefly on Instagram or something, but I used to go out and be so social because I was scared of not being alone but my own thoughts. Yeah. And I think now there's nothing I crave more than after a long day of like going home and being by myself. And I feel like I don't have to like please anyone or like do anything, or I could just like sit at home, watch YouTube or do whatever. And I feel like so much more better the next day. Like last night I just went to bed so early, like I had to pick up my parents, but you know, if that was any other night, like I would have, or like 5 minutes ago, I would have been hammered. Like what time is it right now? 11:30, probably would have still been in bed. Yeah. It's just, you feel so much more productive. Yeah. And I think that truly stems from me knowing what I want and what I need in my life.
Yeah. And for me, it was always like self-worth. For me, like Will would always tell me like, Courtney, like you're gonna be so good at this YouTube thing, like years before I even actually started doing this whole YouTube thing. And I feel like there was like that fear of like maybe not succeeding, or maybe of like what people are gonna think of me, like, oh, you're so weird, you're talking to a camera, like shit like that, you know? Like there's always that fear in the back of your head of not pleasing people. And for me, I've always been a people pleaser. Like the old me, if I was to find out that someone didn't like me or something, I would take that so personally. Yeah. I would be so offended, and I would want to do anything in my power to be like, no, like I'm such a good person, like why don't you like me? Yeah. But now it's just like, if you don't know me, then like I could care less.
And if you don't see that.
Exactly. If you don't see that, if you don't see that I'm such a sincere, like amazing woman, then I don't care.
But like, I think that comes from because we know who we are. Totally. And that journey has helped us, like, you know, I know that I can put my mind to something and do it. I know, like, I just had a thought and it just left my mind when you were talking, because like you hit the nail. Yeah. You know, you said something and I was like, that's because like before it was the fake confidence. We knew we could be that person, but we weren't there yet. Yeah. And
exactly.
Now
we didn't truly feel it. We knew that we could be it, but we didn't truly feel it.
And now that we're truly feeling it, we are able to say, I'm a great person. If you don't like me, too bad, because you don't care. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's
100%. Okay, so the last thing we're going to talk about is struggles. I feel like some struggles that we've kind of been on throughout this journey. I've touched a little bit about this topic on a previous video I filmed, but I'm going to ask Nicole, because I feel like your journey is a lot of fitness related. I mean, a lot more than that, as we just talked about. Like it extends deeper than just fitness. Yeah. But like, what are some struggles, if any, that you have kind of dealt with over this journey?
So I think, of course, just like in life, when you do one thing, there's always another thing, right? Totally. And I personally think, because I've been focusing so much on my fitness and everything else, that like my spending habits have actually gotten worse. I'm gonna be making that like a new goal of mine to like, I'm gonna be getting like some kind of money journal or something to track where I'm spending money. I have an app, like the RBC app, that doesn't really do anything. So I wanna actually get a journal and write down like what I spend my money on, how much money I have to spend for the week, and like
expenses, everything like that.
That's my next kind of goal. But I think like, because I'm not eating as bad and I'm not indulging in those bad habits, I've moved to like spending money on like clothes or whatever it is. Shoes, I have a bad habit of buying shoes. And I think because food used to bring me so much joy, which, you know, healthy food now brings me joy, to be honest, that I've like moved to something else can bring me joy, you know what I mean?
I
so I think that's something that I struggle with, and I do find myself like I need to work on that. But I think that's about it. Like, I mean, there obviously are day-to-day struggles where you get those cravings, and or you have those friends who are like, come out tonight and like party or like whatever. But I'm really lucky because a lot of my friends, a lot like me, were, especially you and, you know, Sydney and Sinclair, they all have boyfriends, so like they're not like big partiers, which actually really helps me, because if I had a lot of single friends who like to party a lot, it would be very different. But that goes to say like stage of our lives that we're into.
For sure. So I've touched a little bit about like my social aspect of it, and like it's different because Nicole and like Melissa, who are two of my best friends, they live in Scarborough. And like now that they're in relationships, you know, you're in relationships, you spend more time with your significant other, and there's nothing wrong with that. But as far as like going out, like I have this thing where it's like this whole social drinking thing. It's so crazy how like I feel like I always, whenever I go to a restaurant, I need to have a drink and order a drink. So that's something I'm definitely working on. I've cut out alcohol a lot, like so much, but it's still something that I need to work on, because you know, I go out for dinner. I went out for dinner the other night and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get an Aperol Spritz. And I know it's only one, but it's like, it's not even necessary. Like I don't need it. And like, if I want it, I can have it. There's no problem. Like I'm not limiting myself to like, you're not allowed to drink ever. But it's more of like a social thing where I feel like I need to have it. So that's one thing. Another thing is I feel like because I'm focusing more on like how I feel internally and like my self-esteem and my confidence and stuff like that, I've kind of been putting off things that I also need to work on, because I feel like you can't work on like 10 things at once. You need to focus on one thing
to make it good.
Totally. You have to give it your all, right? Like, you can't focus on like losing weight, spending, all of that. Kind of what Nicole was touching on. And like for me, it's more of my food habits. I'm still really struggling, not struggling, but like I've completely changed my old food habits and they're different, but I can definitely do better. Yeah, just like with overeating.
I think you look great.
Oh,
yeah. I don't think I mean, sorry, I totally cut you off.
No. That's like pretty much all I wanted to say anyways. But yeah, no, like my food and stuff like that. I'm
starving right now.
I know. We're gonna like finish this up because we're gonna go grab brunch. But anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this little video of us just like talking about our real life shit. It's like you guys are chilling here with us and like we're having a conversation with you guys. So if you guys like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll link Nicole's YouTube and Instagram down below. And I'm really excited for my next episode. It's gonna be about social anxiety, and how to cope with social anxiety. Stay tuned for that.
Thank you for having me.
No problem.
It was nice chatting with you guys, and yeah, I look forward to more of your videos, like chat with me's.
Aw, love ya. Okay, bye guys.